So we've basically decided to do a podcast, and we've named it Chai and Chatter, but because we want it to be a bit authentic, I haven't actually started an introduction just yet. So once we get comfortable and we see where this is going, I'll probably introduce an introduction, if that makes sense. But in a nutshell, we're two flatmates who are just having a chat, usually over a cup of chai, but we don't have any chai with us at the moment. I've literally just got a bottle of water. So, yeah. How do you want to start? What do you want to talk about?
Anything?
Well, the thing is, I said to you that we should do a introduction of like how we first met and things like that.
Oh, yeah, that sounds great.
And like first impressions, because I remember we first met. So we live in the same, obviously flatmates, so we live in the same flat area, and I came in and I hadn't moved out from my home about like 6 years. So I first met you and I was really, really nervous, but you were lying on the sofa watching something.
Yeah, because I do enjoy staying in the kitchen where we share kitchen. And then, I don't know, I don't know if you asked me first or I asked you first, but we started talking, and then it's kind of obvious that you were like nervous or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then you started to share how you are like, oh yeah, after 6 years I'm going back to uni. And I was like, well, I guess we have our roles like in opposite way, because you're going back to uni, but for me I'm in my final year, and I'm gonna need to like start thinking of working or career wise, and I have no idea of it. So basically I've lived my life almost as a student, but never outside that,
like,
and then
not in the real world. Because so basically my backstory is that we're both university students, we're both third years, but I returned after studies after 6 years. I'm not going to go into detail why just yet, we might save it for another episode, should there be another episode. But yeah, it is actually weird that you say that, because our life is on the same yet different trajectories, because I've done 6 years in like retail and customer service and things like that, so I was in like the big bad world, so to speak. But yeah, I remember meeting you and you told me that you said you studied education, and I was like, oh, I can tell that, and you were smiling, and I could tell you were a bit not nervous, but you were very kind of conscious, because you were like, oh, I need to clean up my mess, and I'm like, don't worry, you don't need to apologize. That's one thing I noticed about you, because you say sorry a lot, and I'm like it's like, yes, I remember I was just like, are you just apologizing for breathing? And I was like, yeah. So you said sorry a lot. I was like, sorry, and you said sorry for saying sorry, and I'm like, I'm like, it's fine, Rahina, I won't kill you, it's okay.
It's a habit.
That's the thing though, it's a habit, so I understand, but we'll easily, hopefully let that habit go. But yeah, I thought my first impression, I thought you were very bubbly and genuinely very, what was I going to say? I could tell that you had like this motherly, caring nature about you. And I don't know if it was because you told me you studied education. So yeah. But what was your first impression? Be honest, be 100%. Because everybody's like, I thought you were really bubbly. And I'm like, oh my God.
Well, because when I first met you, you were kind of nervous. So
yeah.
I have no idea when you talk fast and you talk a lot, if it's like because of that situation, of that nervousness you're feeling with going back to uni and all that. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So when I first met you, I was like, I'm not sure if that is really, the whole you.
Yeah.
Like, in first impression, because it's kind of like not neutral based first impression, because you were nervous.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I really like how you were like open to me, which is, I take that as a compliment, and I don't know, I appreciate it that someone is, willing to say something that making them nervous or making them scared, because it kind of shows that you kind of find me trustworthy for that information.
Yeah.
So I did like that. And then first impression, I just like you, if that makes sense.
Aww, that's so sweet.
Because I really like first impression. I do agree and admit that it's very important. There are some people, just some, okay, not everyone, but when I first meet them, we just don't vibe.
Yeah.
So for you, it's just easy. It didn't take a lot of effort.
Yeah.
It didn't feel forced, if that makes sense.
That's what I liked, because I felt, because sometimes it's hard to build connections with people, and I think with us, we naturally kind of just clicked and vibed together, and we started talking a lot. So yeah, it was a good first impression. I didn't expect to like get quite close quite quickly. So it's so strange because I think it was in our like third or fourth week. I don't actually know, third, fourth week we were discussing podcasts, and I'm like, oh god, like this is moving fast. But yeah, it was a good first impression.
So it's really ironic on how in the first impression it was you who confided in me, but the second time was just so spontaneous. Then I started to open up with you. I don't know why. And for all the girls out there, I guess you know how hormones work when you're like in your period, and I guess that was during that time, like PMS and all that. Right, PMS.
It is PMS. Yeah.
So I was like, and then I started to like just blurt out. Like, I didn't mean to trauma dump, but it was just...
Yeah, but you didn't trauma dump.
Yeah, it just came out naturally though, and then I feel like I had to say it because I've been bottling it up. But then, I don't know, to be fair, I really thought you were God sent. Yeah, I'm not trying to like,
This is going to turn into a romance.
No. Literally, because I guess sometimes when you're struggling, you don't acknowledge it yourself until like, not really you let me, but I just happened to say it naturally. You didn't have to say anything to provoke or like make me say it, but you did help me, let out that feelings that I guess I've been bottling in, or like I've been struggling but never noticing. But then when I started talking to you, it came out like just again naturally and effortlessly. And then I realized, oh my gosh, these are the feelings that I had to like accept to myself, and finally having someone just unintentionally say it to is actually like, relieving and then freeing in some sense. So I guess I already thank you about it, but I do really still am thankful of it. So thank you.
No, you're welcome. I guess it was like therapeutic because I didn't expect like you to open up, but it's fine because obviously I don't think I told you how to feel. I feel like I guided you through those feelings. I feel like when anybody goes through certain issues, and especially if they're bottling it up, it's necessary for you to just listen and let them talk. And if you can guide their way of thinking and their trail of thoughts and their feelings, as opposed to imposing your own opinions, it is very, very helpful. By the way, this is really off topic, but no, don't stop recording. Oh, but you're gonna stop recording?
No. This is just to not happen again earlier. We were cut off. I'm gonna just put it on airplane mode so no notification will get in.
Okay, that's fine. The thing is, just when there was a bit of a weird break, Rahina got a phone call. So just thought we'd add it there. Where was I at? What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So PMS is premenstrual stress. So before you're on your period, a few weeks, like a week or two between then, you'll start getting certain kind of symptoms. So your hormones are up and down, and then you'll have your period. And obviously, it's during those kind of cycles and that kind of period, no pun intended, that it will your emotions are a bit more heightened, let's just say that. But I'm glad you opened up. It was
I think it was the catalyst of our relationship. That's when we
that's when I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. It's like, sorry, I didn't trauma dump. I'm like, trust me, you did not trauma dump. You're fine. It's good to open up now and again, to be fair though, because you all have problems, and it's nice to most of the time you have resolutions, so you've already thought of the solutions in your head, but when you have someone to talk to and open up, it's very freeing, I'd say. It depends. I don't open up too much, but I am very I can be very obvious with my emotions. I do not hide my facial expressions. I need to get better at that. But yeah, what was I going to say? How's uni going?
How's uni? Okay, so just a context, this week I've been sick, right? So I'm really like behind of my work, and I'm hoping to get extensions for it, because I don't know if everyone has this same routine, but I feel like you have a mental schedule of where you should be at this point in term or something. And for me, I feel like I'm so behind that I would really need an extension. So EC is an extenuating circumstance in my uni. I guess every uni has different terminologies.
Yeah.
But ours is easy. Extenuating circumstance, I think that's what it stands for. Basically an extension. So I'm really behind, I would be honest. And then again, I'm still not 100%. So it might look like our energy is so unbalanced, like you're hyper and I'm kind of not. But it's more, but to be honest, I feel like I can like be on par of your energy. I can
compliment it.
Yeah, I can compliment it well, but again, I'm just still under the weather.
Yeah.
But getting better, but still needs to go to my GP. So that's my uni life for so far.
Fingers crossed for you, because I remember you told me and I was like, no, you'll be fine. But I didn't want to be that kind of person, it'll definitely work out. Because as soon as you say that, you're like, well, it didn't work out and you told me it would. And I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that. Fingers crossed. I see no reason as to why it won't work out. But yeah, I'm just going to say, the thing is, I'm on reading week this week and there's so many things I should have done, and now I'm like, oh crap, I should have done all the weekly tasks to make my life a bit more easier now. So I need to read through essays and come up with topics. I haven't even got topics in my head. I've only got ideas and I haven't written much down. But I'm not going to panic. I'm just going to get on with it. I don't want to discuss too much because I feel like I'm going to make it worse when I know I've got a resolution, if that makes sense. But yeah. Do you know, yesterday when we went out, I told you that on the tube, we went out yesterday to a shopping centre. I was gonna say where, and I was like, no, don't stalk us. I don't. To the two people that are listening, don't stalk us. But you don't actually know. People are really, really strange. You think you know someone, and you're like, oh. But yeah, we went out shopping yesterday, and it was fun. And I told you let's go because it'll get your head out of all the things that are going on, and it'd be nice and relaxing. And I said to you, I was going to tell you something, but I'm going to tell you in the podcast. Now, this is the most irrelevant thing ever. It really doesn't matter, but I'm so excited about it. So, you know, like music trends and things like that. I follow it like 10 years later. So Lana Del Rey, her music started getting popular. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was like 2012, where her music was popular, and she was releasing music, as far as I'm aware, from like, you know, that kind of period. And it's only later this year that I started getting into her music. So I was really, really into her songs, and I had such a huge like kind of crush on her and her music. I was like, oh my god, she's amazing. And I've saved a playlist on my phone called Queen Lana Del Rey, and I've got most of her music, not most, some of it on there, because there's only a few specific songs that I absolutely love. So yeah, I say that to say I don't jump on trends a lot quickly, a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Well, that's worded incorrectly. I don't jump on trends. I tend to get interested in trends when they're not a trend anymore. So like the
hype dies down.
I
totally relate.
I don't know why, but like Lana Del Rey's music, I've been listening to it like 10 years or 11 years later. But recently there's a band, and I don't know if it's a rock band, but it's called, I think it's Bon Jovi, and the song is hold on, I don't know how I listened to it, how I first came about it, but basically it's like a rock song, and it's called You Give Love a Bad Name, and I heard a snippet of it because it sounded similar to Bonnie Tyler's music, the one that sang Total Eclipse of the Heart, and the other song is If You Were a Woman and I Was a Man. That's where the song was inspired by, and then I listened to basically You Give Love a Bad Name by Bon Jovi, and it's absolutely amazing, and I was proper rocking out to it, and I had the time of my life, and I'm still going to rock out to it, so it's my current obsession at the moment. So that's what I wanted to tell you. It's an absolutely amazing song, and it's proper like rock and roll. Well, I say it's proper rock and roll, it probably isn't, because rockers know more than me, but yeah, I'm obsessed with that. Do you have any obsessions at the moment?
For me, first of all, I do relate to you, like, going to the trends after the hype died down, because I don't know, like, so I do listen to K-pop a lot, but not as much as anymore, like compared to 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of my, I have different playlists, but most of my playlists would just be K-pop songs.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of dying to it. I don't know if it is maturing or not.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm no longer in that space or phase of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some K-pop songs that are just everywhere and everyone loves it. And I don't know, I prefer the ones or songs and sometimes artists that are often overlooked or not much given attention to, because I feel like the others mainstream already, like, you have enough attention, you have more than you needed. I will just go be supporting the ones that
don't get that attention. Yeah,
I guess that's kind of my attitude, and I also told this to my friend, and he kind of feels the same. Because I don't know if anyone, well, we're gonna put this in SoundCloud, but there are some amazing artists in SoundCloud. Most of them are independent. So I'm not sure anymore, but before, SoundCloud is easier to put and release music on, unlike Spotify, where you need many other things,
like licenses.
Yeah, to put your stuff on Spotify, and you also need to pay or something as an artist. So SoundCloud was like more accessible before, and there are really lots of artists there that friend of mine and I really enjoy listening.
Aww. Do you know what? I probably won't know any of them, but what's your favorite one? Do you know?
Okay, so here's another thing.
Okay,
people will hate me for it. So I know songs, but now since I'm like I said, I'm no longer there. But I know songs and how it goes, but sometimes I don't even know the artist or the title of it. It's really bad. It's the same with books. I think I mentioned this to you before. No,
not books.
So for books, I would know sometimes even the whole content, like how the book went, the story, but I wouldn't even know who the author was, and sometimes even forget what is the title of it. But yeah, so for me, in any kind of art or any published things, music, written works or anything, I prefer I focus on the content more than who wrote and what is the title of it.
Yeah.
It's really weird. It's really controversial because some of my friends hate that for me.
Yeah.
Not really hate, but yeah.
They don't like it.
Yeah,
they're not a fan of it. Because I would sometimes I remember the artist's name and like I would know the books and the authors and stuff like that. Not offhand though. Yeah. But what was I gonna say? There's a song. I've gotten into, I think, Japanese music recently. I say that I've listened to 2 songs. There was one that I sent you. Can't remember the name. Am I boring you? I'm joking. Because it's audio, Rahina just yawned and I felt like she's made me really self-conscious now. No, I'm joking. I am genuinely joking. I was going to say, 2 Japanese artists. Yes, there was I don't know the name of the artist. There's an anime called Howl's Moving Castle, and the song in the end, which I really, really love. It's such an emotional song, and it's really, really lovely. I love the tune and I love the meaning behind it, and it's very emotional. I don't know the name of the song. And then there's one that I liked by another artist who's quite popular at the moment, or he's rising in popularity. Another Japanese artist the song is called, apologize for my pronunciation, but it's called Shinunaga Iwa. And I love it. And the only thing I sing along to is that word. I just like Shinunaga Iwa, and it's just that's it. That's literally it. Because I don't understand everything else he's saying apart from baby. So I'll say baby and then Shinunaga Iwa, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means. But basically he's trying to say that without you I'll die or something like that, which is which is every romantic story. But yeah, it's quite nice. I did like that song. I like both of those songs, but I'm probably going to branch out a little bit because I like this song, which is a Serbian song as well, which got really popular, and I think it's because of TikTok. And it's called Moja More or something like that. That really like the Nito son discreta, and I'm like, what? And I don't, but the meaning behind the song is so beautiful. It's so dark and depressing, and it's like matches the weather. But yeah, no, that's also a good song.
I did tell you about the Yangwa Bridge, right? That song.
The one that you listen...
The one that I tried to sing to you.
That one?
Yeah.
No, remind me, because I don't remember. You don't have to sing it, but with the context of it.
So it's about like
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
I remember.
yeah.
I told you to send it to me because
Yeah,
yeah, that one. That's a really nice song because
Yeah.
about her parents. That one.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
parents, like how someone like the one who composed and written the song was like he was inspired. I'm not really sure, but I feel like based on the lyrics, he was inspired on how when he is different perspective as a child and now as an adult,
Yeah.
and living the same kind of life and feelings your parents once had to endure while you were young.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, I guess, more on reminiscing and at the same time acknowledging the feelings, not just what you're feeling but also your parents, because
Yeah.
I feel like oftentimes I kind of admit, like, as a child we have the privilege that we kind of always think that, well, our parents should have been better, but we never really realized them as an individual as well.
Yeah.
So it's really just kind of a reflection of a song.
It is quite a meaningful song, and I think it's what's the name of the song?
Yanghwa Bridge. I forgot the author.
Yanghwa Bridge.
Yeah.
Google it. Hold on. Should I Google it or
okay.
Safari it?
It's this. So it's written by Zion T, and the cover was, I like the cover more because the emotions, the original version is more like, I don't know, hip-hop-y or something.
Yeah, it's a pop song. So basically, the original version is a pop song, and then there's a ballad version. The ballad version is the best one. I love a good ballad. You sent it to me. Hold on.
Yes, I did.
I'm trying to find it as well. Where are we?
Well, we do. I didn't realize. I only realized now that we message a lot.
Yeah, you sent like all the photos of the food that you sent me. It's Zion T, Yanghwa Bridge, covered by Young and Innocent Cosmos Gummy.
Oh yeah, Gummy, that
Gummy.
artist. Gummy is such a
Yeah.
powerful singer. So Gummy, I was gonna say by someone else, Bada, but it's a different singer. By a Gummy, she's lovely. She did this. I first heard this because of her cover in Masked Singer.
Yeah.
I told you about that show, and then because with the Masked Singer, I guess one of the best point of the show was like to focus on the voice. You won't see who is singing or something because they have a silly mask on. So you will just have to focus on their voice. And the voice, how she sang it was just full of emotions.
Yeah.
So I was like, I do love this song. And then how the translation as well, like every verse is just chef kiss.
It's really, really nice.
Yeah.
And I do recommend if you're feeling a bit down, listen to the song because it's really nice. Well, actually, if you're feeling down, listen to something uplifting. Because it's like, oh God. Because the thing is, when you're down and you listen to something that's even more down,
You will cry.
You either cry or you just get feel worse, and you're like, you don't need that. But maybe sometimes, like, some people oddly, like, I can be in the best mood, but I'll listen to like a depressing song because I love depressing songs. But sometimes it gives you that kind of it's that release of emotion, and then once you finish listening to them, I'm like, no, I don't want to be sad, I want to listen to uplifting stuff. But yeah, that song is really, really nice. And I was coming back to your point that it is a bit strange because I used to say that sometimes parents don't recognise that, you know, they put a lot of expectations on us, and you know, it could be a cultural thing. I don't think you have to necessarily come from a certain culture. Sometimes it can be emphasized a bit more because certain cultures that you come from are a bit more collectivist. It's like, what will people say, what will society say, what will the people around us say, and that puts a lot of pressure on the individual. I think I always used to say, based on that parents need to realise, beyond us being their kids, we are our own individuals who have our own life and our own way of being, but we don't realise sometimes, and I'm not excusing any bad behaviour from parents, but I think sometimes kids don't realise that apart from being a mum and dad, we set this kind of magical thing around it, like, oh, they're our mum and dad, they're perfect, they should know this, they should get everything right, but behind that persona, they're very fragile human beings. Do you know what I mean? They are fallible people, and we sometimes have to realize, as much as we want them to understand we're individuals, we also need to understand they're individuals. They didn't get it right. And there's no excusing bad behaviour, but it also kind of adds that human touch to it, that you don't have to accept their behaviour, you don't have to necessarily agree with what has been said or done, but you can, on a human level, meet on a playing field that, I maybe put too much expectations on you, or you did try your best, it wasn't good enough, but you'd done what you thought was right. And maybe when I'm older, I think it will take for us to be parents, or for us to get a bit older and be around kids, for us to realise actually what our parents may have experienced. And until then, we can't fully appreciate, certain experiences our parents had. Like I said, I really do want to emphasise that, it doesn't excuse bad behaviour, or I'm not justifying it, certain things that parents do, but it gives you a different perspective. Because I remember, of all places, I was in Asda today. Oh, so bloody annoying. Why put your trolley right there when you can just move it? I swear, some human beings, when you meet, there's certain human beings you meet and you're like, oh my God, like...
Common sense?
Common sense, there is none. It's just like, oh, okay, thank you, conveniently leaving your trolley right in my way. I'll try and manoeuvre it. And then they just look at me like I'm the idiot. I'm like, excuse me, I know when I'm wrong. I'm not wrong this time.
Yeah.
Oh, before I went to Asda, do you know what happened to me? So we have to cross. There's a zebra crossing. So a zebra crossing, rule of thumb, you have to stop your car.
Oh, yeah.
The amount the amount of people that don't do that, and you have and you can't assume that they're going to do that, because you'll get hit by the car. I nearly got hit by the car today, because the idiot didn't brake in time, and I was like, you do realise it's a bloody zebra crossing, brake, do you know what I mean? It's so annoying. And I had a point about this, Asda. So when I was in Asda, and I've been there a few times, because obviously that's our local supermarket, oh my God, the amount of babies that scream over nothing. They're like, Wah! And I'm like, oh my God, and they're like, Mummy! And I'm like, and do you know where Mummy is? Right next to them. And do you know what Mummy is doing? Packing the food that's going to go into your gob so you can shut the hell up. But no, Mummy! And do you know what's hilarious? I used to be that kind of kid.
The audacity to judge them.
But that's the thing. And I was like, I was getting annoyed, but then I laughed at just how full circle life can be. And I was like, God, no wonder my parents hate me, because I was such a tearaway. Like they had to put me on a leash. I was full of energy. I could not stop. So and I was like, and then I say that to say I do emphasize my parents. So and it goes on to the point: the older you get, the more you realize, but I kind of get why my parents, are a bit, because they're adults. They think a certain way. They have a bit more, logical way of thinking. You're kids and you don't know. But the older you get, the more things come to sense, I think.
Yep.
But so that's my little story about Asda. Go on. You were gonna say
I was gonna say on how opposite we are when we were in childhood, because I do remember myself thinking, I guess I was too mature for my age. And that, for sure, I feel like I didn't really have a childhood, if that makes sense. Because they always say, was I restricted to being a child? But then I came to this realization, it was all me. I feel like playing tag, is very stupid. Okay, before I get cancelled.
I must be an idiot then.
No. So
I played that a lot.
I feel like there's no point of playing it.
It's fun.
That's the thing though. I feel like even when I was young, I guess I was no fun, if that makes sense. So the only thing that really brings me joy was TV and movies and all that. So until now, that's what I enjoy for fun. But when I was young, I don't like any outdoors activity. I don't like gamings as well, like video games at all.
Not a fan of games.
Any games, like anything related to games. I don't know if I built my whole personality or identity as a young child with that, like hating all kinds of games. But then again, I really feel bad because I missed out, honestly. I feel like I missed out a lot. Because, again, you said it's fun, it brings you joy, supposedly. But I don't know why I never felt the same as majority of children does with games. So that always makes me wonder. And, so I was just gonna say, so that's why when we are in public, I guess my mom really loves it, because I don't know if my brother does, but me personally, as a child, I never go tantrums, shout or something. Never. I'm a very babe.
You very well, like, you were very quiet.
Quiet, so quiet.
Behaved. Yeah, I suppose it's got to do with your upbringing as well, and like I think, but each child has their own kind of each child has their own kind of way. Like we either expect a child to be really, really quiet or demure, or just really, really like kind of bubbly and loud and just doesn't stop. But it does depend. Like, I don't know, have you watched Lilo and Stitch?
Oh yeah.
Oh, bloody lovely Lilo and Stitch.
Yes.
And Stitch, I love Stitch so much.
Totally.
Oh my
I always dream of having my own Stitch, but apparently it's impossible.
Oh God, I love Stitch so much, and that's the reason why no man wants to approach me. But yeah, because I love Disney. But I was gonna say,
but you have Tom and Jerry jumper now.
Yeah, I have a Tom and Jerry sweatshirt. But
that's not Disney.
I know. Just pretend it's got Stitch on it. I was gonna say something about that. Oh yeah. So you know, like how people really loved Lilo because she was so differently portrayed as to other kids.
Oh yeah.
She was very unique. She goes, my friends need to be punished, and she listens to Elvis Presley, and she got into a fight, and she wanted to give Fudge a tuna sandwich and things like that. And she had an obsession with death and poison and things like that, so she was really, really kind of strange.
Yeah, I guess that's why I like her as well.
I'm not trying to say you're strange. Like, I'm just saying that people are different. You're not stereotypically what children think how am I trying to word it? You're not stereotypically what we think adults think children should be like.
Yeah.
You do get a few Lilos here and there. So yeah, and I think that's what was quite refreshing about that. You know, tag it, stuff like that. You don't really. It's fun. It's joyful, but you know, you can't control your interests. If you like movies, you like movies.
Maybe there's a part of, I feel like I'm the butt of the joke most of the time when I was young.
Yeah.
So they intentionally make me the one who's running after to tag people.
Yeah.
And then because I'm again very slow runner even now.
Yeah.
So they really like me struggling basically.
Yeah.
My whole friends when I was young. So yeah, maybe that played the part why I started to hate it, because they never let me win. Basically.
Fair enough, because that sounds like that because if you have certain memories that are attached to your childhood which aren't good, like you're like, oh, I don't want to do anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, fair enough. Hence why you don't like tag. But you know, like there are other games. Now, only the older you get, you can play Monopoly or something, or Scrabble. Which I still have to play because I've never played that.
I was planning to buy. Do you know like the dragon that has teeth and then you put your finger in it and then it will like one person will
I have never played that.
So I was planning to buy it. Do you want to play it together?
I wouldn't mind.
Okay.
It depends, but I wouldn't mind when we are free. One of the days when I'm actually writing my essays. But yeah, no, I've only played Guess Who. I've never played many board games. Only Guess Who. I'm okay at cards. I should really get into cards, like poker and shit like that, because I'm actually decent at cards. Like I can play a good game, and I've won quite a few games here and there.
I'm always a loser in games, I'm telling you.
Oh, so you'll be a great player. Boosting up my ego.
Yeah.
Like, I win.
To be fair, if anyone is trying to boost their ego, they shouldn't play with me. Because it's just by default that I'm bad. So it wouldn't test anything by your ability. Just saying.
Or if you want an easy win. Just one that is like without the hard work.
Fair enough.
But I was going to say, this actually does lead on to something though, because I thought it's an interesting question, because obviously we're just, you know, introducing ourselves and stuff like that. But I watched this YouTube channel, and it's called Achieve You. And they go around asking strangers questions, and it's quite wholesome, and it can be quite therapeutic. But they asked a question which no one knows the answer to, and it's a really good question. And I wanted to ask you, and we can both answer it if you're comfortable or if you've got an answer. But basically, if I asked you, you know, what are your bad points or bad qualities, or what are your negative traits, what would you like to improve about yourself, or what you don't like about yourself, things like that, you'd be quick to answer
Okay.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I don't know. People you generally are quick to answer. But if I asked you, so if I asked you, you know, what don't you like about yourself? Would you have a quick answer in your head?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So like basically they were saying that if you could compliment yourself, what would you say? Because we're so quick on putting ourselves down and finding the faults in us and all the negative bits, and it's good to improve, but we never spend like at least a few minutes appreciating the what we like about ourselves.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'm not going to say improvements.
Okay.
So if you could go on. Sorry.
So what is really the question? What do I want to compliment to myself, or what are the things I want to improve to?
So the question is.
Yeah.
Oh my god! It's such a roundabout way of saying it. Basically, if you could compliment yourself, what would you say?
Okay, so I think right off the bat I would congratulate myself for like finally knowing to start to listen to myself, and then like, and also like with that following that I also start to like find my real self now, as by myself without influence or other people's
Opinion.
input.
Yeah. That's really actually good. That's really insightful. Do you know what? That proved my point wrong. Because I was going to say, basically, whenever you meet someone, they're very quick to point out their flaws. And if you ask them to compliment themselves, they won't know anything. So I was expecting you to be like, but at least you had one. And it's quite an interesting question, I think.
I think I was kind of... I wouldn't be able to answer this if I didn't have this kind of epiphany conversation.
Epiphany.
Yeah, like I had a conversation with my friends last week, same day, Sunday. She has this great cards. It's also from podcast. Like it's a question of that podcast show or something, and all the guests who went there wrote their own question, and then it was like sold by cards.
Yeah.
So we played that card game, and then we started to ask each other. Everyone takes a pick of their own, and then everyone has to answer.
It's really interesting. I love that.
Yeah, and then so basically, it's supposed to be really simple questions.
Yeah.
It says, but then we started to talk like so crazy on how just very deep conversations, and that led me to that answer.
Yeah.
To your question.
That's so good.
Easily, yeah. So what about you? You need to answer. Yeah, it cannot be just
bloody
me.
hell. No, I don't know.
Oh wait, so how ironic it is now.
I know. I was like, I thought you'd be like, and this is me going, Oh God, if I could compliment myself, what would I say?
Yes.
Oh no. I was thinking about it today actually, and now I don't know what to say. I think, what would I compliment myself on?
We're gonna play something in the background while we wait.
Oh dear. I think I'm quite resilient. Without going into detail, I feel like I have experienced certain things, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I feel like life is all about suffering and pain, but to find meaning within that. And if you grow from it and if you learn from it, you've won in certain ways. I'm not trying to diminish anybody's pain or experiences. I just feel that you're not going to experience life unscathed. You're going to have scars. And you can either become better or stay bitter. I truly believe that, and you can either let it make you or break you. And life will break you and it will make you. It's your choice how you choose to define yourself, and how you treat others. I just feel like certain experiences that you go through, they may be the worst, but they shape the best of you. And I kind of feel like despite certain emotional turmoil, I feel like I've come out on the other end a lot more open-minded. I've survived and I feel a bit more resilient than I was before. It's gonna I'm working on building tougher skin. I think I'm, to a degree, quite tough. But I do admire my resilience and how formidable I can be, and how I don't give up on life. I do choose to carry on, whether it's good, bad or ugly. I will decide to carry on, because I'm the kind of believer that, you know, life isn't a destination, it's a journey. You're always going to be a work improvement. There's not going to be that kind of idea that I've arrived now and I'm complete. You're always going to be a work in progress. You're always going to be improving and changing and evolving in certain degrees if you want to grow, if you want to learn. So I always think, you know, it's best to be resilient. Life will teach you to be resilient, and you're not going to get out of it unscathed. So I think this is turning into a TED talk, but basically, if anything I could compliment myself on, it would be my resilience. I think I'm a resilient person to a degree.
Yeah, I would like to congratulate you for that, and also how commendable it is, because I feel like I've always heard this word, and I feel like I've never been yet in that kind of stage of life where I have to have a tough skin and be resilient to that extent. Yeah. Like, for sure, I feel like, if I were to be honest, and I'm not trying to say this is just a privilege or what, but the most things that I had to be resilient of is basically pursuing my studies. And, like, well, I did get bullied. I don't know if that's resilience, but, but I feel like, I don't know if this is the same definition of resilience to you, but I feel like resilience is something that should be within, without any other people's shielding you with it. Yeah. Right? So in that kind of definition, I don't think I have that 100% of resilience yet. Yeah. So I really find it, again, commendable that you actually have it to yourself.
You're probably more resilient than you think you are, and thank you very much. That's very sweet of you to say. That's really, really nice. Thank you. You give me so many compliments. My ego's like right there. But yeah, no. That's so. I think that anybody who is listening, you know, ask that question, because I think it would be nice and insightful. I turned it into a TED talk, and it could literally just been my resilience, and that's it. But yeah, that's how it goes. You know. Yeah. But yeah, see, I think this went well. Yeah. I don't think it went bad, to be fair. I think we were aiming for, like, I said half an hour, but then I was like 45 minutes to an hour, because I've been watching a few podcasts. Yeah. And I was like, I might be getting in the vibe. I've told you about, so basically I watched this American podcast, and it's called The Dropouts, and there used to be a trio, but now they're a duo. The main two presenters are a duo, but sometimes they've got other people in there, either ones that work for them or guests from other backgrounds, other influencers. They originally started off as influencers and stuff like that. One of them is into music. The other one was a content creator for TikTok, and I think still is. And he's quite funny. He's got very good comedic timing, but his sense of humor is very it's an acquired taste. So Dropouts, if you're interested, on YouTube or app. I don't know if they've got it on Apple. Probably they have audio listeners, because it is a podcast. But yeah, I've been listening to them quite a lot, and I've told you I'm obsessed. Yes. I'm obsessed with the podcast, or a particular podcaster. But we shan't get into that. But yeah. Oh, I did say that at the end that we should do a poem. Do you think we should? Do you think it will fit the vibe or not?
Yeah, I think so. We did talk about, like, many insightful points, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. Right, I will end it on a poem. If you do on SoundCloud, I don't know if you said you're going to put it on YouTube, aren't you? Yeah. Okay. So on YouTube, if you got any comments,
SoundCloud as well, they have comment section.
If you've got any comments, then, you know, please, anything constructive apart, just so you know, this is shit. Like, don't write that. That's not constructive. Like, but, you know, if you've got a first impression, if you care, please leave a comment. That'd be lovely. And I think I laughed at my own comment a bit too much. But yeah, I think we'll end it on a poem. I was gonna read one of my favorite poems, but I was like, I don't know, because it's quite depressing. I was like,
we should have a happy note in first one.
I was like, no, I think this is a bit more fitting. So there's this poem called hold on. I don't know who the poet is, or poetess, the female version. I don't know. I don't know who the writer of this poem is, but it is. I do like this poem. It was written when it was inspired because someone, the writer was inspired by one of his thingy passing away. There was a celebrity that the writer liked, and he passed away, and he kind of wrote it in a way to give him some kind of hope and optimism, despite the fact people go, they still stay with you in different ways. So we're going to end it on this lovely note. Oh, sorry, did you want to say something?
No, with that in mind, like, even though someone is already away, they're still with you. It just reminds me of the philosophical theory my friend told me, but I'm so bad at it.
No, you can mention it.
I forgot what it's called, but basically it's a theory on how the world started, and then each and every one of us is like one way or another is still connected to each other.
Yeah.
So regardless of in a different timeline and whatsoever, one way or another, I still have you in my life, not as it is now, but in a different form.
Oh.
That basically that is the whole thing of that theory, but
that's beautiful, and that leads nicely onto the poem.
Yes.
So, these people, human beings are like birds. Some teach you how to fly, whilst others beat you down to the ground. Some fly with you, some don't. In the same way, some people are there to support you in this journey we call life, whilst others teach you a lot of hard but necessary lessons. Some are there for the short term, whilst others are there for the whole run. These people come for a reason, and whatever reason this may be, we need to be thankful to them, as they have shaped us into the person we are today. We may let go of them, but we hold on to what they taught us forever and always.
That is so lovely.
I think that was quite a nice poem to kind of end it on and stuff like that. But yeah. If you liked, comment, and I hope you liked the poem. And
that's all for today.
Exactly. Wait, are we gonna? So we'll see how this goes. See how we feel. It won't be. We're planning on doing one every other week.
So twice a month.
We'll see how it goes though. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in, whoever stayed, and we hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Bye guys.
Bye bye.